The song was kind of a drag. The year was 1967. Hi, I'm Carl G. Marisi of the Buckinghams, and these are the sounds of the time.
They were a band from Chicago, 6 guys playing cover songs, and became popular in 1965 after appearing as the house band for a local TV show.
They liked the band a lot, but they didn't like our name. We were called the Pulsations. So someone from the show, they wanted to capitalize on the British invasion. You know, the Beatles just hit our shores back in '64, and the British invasion was going pretty strong, and somebody came up with it was actually a security guard that worked for the station, John O'Pager. He came up with the Buckinghams. How about that? Royalties and rock and roll, you know, the Buckinghams, you know. And we thought about it for about 1 minute, and we said, wow, couldn't believe that no one was using that name. And so we started doing the show from the beginning as the Buckinghams.
The strong water jets bowled over demonstrators one after another. They dried out in the pokey.
In the tumultuous late 60s, the Buckinghams' music became a welcome diversion.
There was the Civil Rights Act in 1964, segregation in '65, all the protesting on college campuses over the Vietnam War. And I knew they were happening, we all knew that, but we were so focused on our music that we didn't pay a lot of attention to all that was going on at the time. The music was very connected to those times and what was going on. You know, civil rights, segregation, the protests, the Vietnam War, presidential assassinations, and the music seemed to fit in perfectly. There was a certain amount of tension, and of course the Democratic Convention in '68 and all the riots going on. Our music, the Buckinghams, our music was a lighter love song.
But they couldn't stay unaffected and isolated from all that was surrounding them.
We were impacted by one of the singers in our group. He was drafted in 1965.
Founding member Gia Marisi, who was a vocalist and lead guitarist, says the band's first original song, Kind of a Drag, turned out to be anything but.
The song right away, it grabbed you because it had this big horn intro, and we became known as being the first band to really create that pop rock horn sound. I think it was released in December of '66, but by February, beginning February of '67, it was a #1 record. You know, it actually knocked the Monkees song "I'm a Believer" off the #1 spot. We were just amazed at, you know, the success of it. Kind of a drag. So right away, your baby don't love you. Kind of a drag when you know she's been untrue. It was just a catchy tune, you know, and we thought it was great, but we didn't realize the magnitude of how big it was going to really become.
By 1967, the Buckinghams had several hit singles and were voted the most listened to band in America. They broke up in 1970, but began to tour again in 1980.
Many Vietnam veterans will come up to me now and say, hey, you know, when Kind of a Drag or Don't You Care was a hit being played on the radio, and we used to listen to it over in Vietnam. It was a diversion from the horrors and the terrible things that were going on in Vietnam and the war itself, you know. So it was just kind of a relief for them, an opportunity to go back to better times and simpler times. So that's something that I'm really proud of, because it makes us, you know, we realize that, hey, you know, our music did help those guys in some way, you know, and made life, you know, a little better, a little easier for them.